believe that time has gone by so fast? You already came down to South America. You already had an impact for the kingdom of God. And now you're back home. How are things going back home? We appreciate all the impact that you had for us with Inca Link. And all the things that you did and all the relationships that you formed. But what about your own life? What is God doing in your life? What has changed now that you're back home? It's an amazing thing how God uses us for 10 days, the way that we're so impacted while we're there, but then we get back home and we get back into the routine of things and we kind of forget what God has done in us. It's like the camp. When we used to go to camp, and say, we're never going to sin again. We'd make all kinds of promises. We'd go forward to the altar call and say, never again am I going to sin. And a week or two would pass back home and we'd fall into sin. I want to encourage each of you to find the area that God is changing you in and exploit that area. Whatever He did in you while you were down with Inca Link, man, use that back home now. Maybe it's visiting the orphanage. Maybe it's going to a senior's home and visiting people there. Maybe it's taking pizza to the streets and giving it out free, two for Tuesday or whatever they have for pizza, and handing it out on the streets. But what's going to change in your life because of your time down with Inca Link? If nothing changed, then it was a waste of time. It would have been cheaper for you to send down your airplane money and all the other money that you brought down and give it to the nationals, and they could have done the work. God brought you with Inca Link for a purpose. What was that purpose? I hope that you're able to see that. Do you know that there's 3 parts of a short-term missions experience? The planning part, the time when you're here, and the time after. You know which one's the most important? The time after. The time when you're back home. That's the most important because that will have the biggest long-term impact on the kingdom of God. How are you doing with the 5 F's? You remember the 5 F's? F number 1, that you need to, when you get back, it was the fun stage, when you got to eat all the fun food again and sleep in your bed. But the second F, maybe you got to the flee stage when you started noticing all the waste in our society back home. And then you got to the fight stage when you were so mad about what was going on that people didn't understand when they'd look at your pictures. You were trying to show them the pictures of how you were impacted in South America, and all they say is, yeah, whatever. And then you get mad. They don't understand. Even your parents maybe didn't understand. But God did something in you. And so you fight against society. So the first F, fun, then flee, then fight. And then the next F, that's where most people stay, is in the fit-in stage. My prayer is that you don't stay in the fit-in stage. You give up and say, well, I can't fight against the world forever. No, push through to the 5th F, to the fruit stage. Are you bearing fruit back home? What things can change? What can you do in your church that was never done before? But because you went on this short-term experience, God is doing something in you and you want to impact your church with it. Have you told the story yet in church? Have you shared the story with others? Get them involved. Take them to a ministry that you can do. Maybe if there's a prison in your area and you can go visit the jail or the prisoners there. Remember that God is in the business of changing people's hearts, and that's what He wants to do in you. Our desire in Inca Link is that you have such an impact in your world back home that the whole world is impacted. We want to encourage you to become partners with Inca Link now. Now that you guys have come down with Inca Link, be our partners. You've seen the need. You've seen some of the needs in the areas in Peru or in Ecuador, and there's so much more to do. Will you become partners with us? Maybe that means sponsoring a child in the daycare center. Or maybe that means giving monthly to Inca Link Ministries or giving to the Great Commission Fund because you've never done it before. Remember the cards you filled out? I hope you're being faithful to the Great Commission Fund. If you don't give monthly to the Great Commission Fund, we can't do what Inca Link is all about. So I want to encourage you, continue to be faithful in missions forever. That it wasn't just a 10-day trip, that it was a missions experience of a lifetime. And we're proud of you for all you did. Enjoy your time back home, but make sure that God is doing a work in you forever.
Hey, thanks again for doing all that you did, sacrificing all that you did to come and be a part of what God is doing around the world. We're so excited that you heard His call and you came. And so we want you guys to keep in touch with us. We want to know how you're doing and the things that God has stretched you in. So write us at richandlisa@gmail.com. And we just want to hear your stories. Also, remember, once you're an Inkalinker, you're always an Inkalinker. So we'll be keeping in touch with you too and letting you know how things are going here.
We'd love for you guys to come back anytime you can with your church, with your youth group. As interns, if you guys want to come down and try on hands-on missions for a longer time, contact us. We'd love to have you. May the Lord bless you.